Hello, this is Wade here with IG Labs, and welcome to episode 3 in our data science podcast series. So, for the past 2 episodes, we kind of just talked about the current news out there in the community and how data science is just being used across the board. So, for today's episode, I figured, hey, why not? Let's showcase a tool that can actually help you better visualize that data to help you conduct that analysis. So, for today's episode, I'm going to be talking about an open source tool known as BRIM. So, what is BRIM? Like I said, BRIM is an open source tool that allows you to search your network traffic to help you identify that interesting PCAP. And before I go any further, you might say, well, there's Wireshark that already does that for us, so why do we need another tool? The simple response to that would be, why not? The more tools you are equipped with, the better. So once you find an interesting packet, you can still have that option to send it to Wireshark for those of you who just can't live without Wireshark. So like I said, BRIM, it's free. You can download it. It's easy to use. So whether you're a beginner or whether you're just being stubborn, you don't want to learn another query language to actually conduct searches on, it's okay. BRIM is easy to use and very user friendly. You can simply, once you have BRIM up, you can simply right click, you can filter, and when you apply that filter, it'll automatically write out the query language for you, so you don't have to actually be a pro from day one using BRIM. And also, if you're feeling really adventurous, you can also access BRIM through your command line interface, but I don't know why you would when the purpose of the tool is to better help you visualize that data to help you conduct that analysis. So, but if you're feeling adventurous, by all means, give it a try in your command line interface as well, but we will not be doing that for today's episode. So some of the basics about BRIM is that it's built from a bunch of other open source components. So it's built using Z, which is the structured query log engine behind it. It uses other open source components such as Electron and React. And it also uses Zeek, which is very popular out there in the community. And if you're not familiar with Zeek, it's used for that network analysis and security monitoring of your network. And some of the good things about Zeek is that it allows you to conduct that in-depth analysis. It's flexible and it's efficient because it's used at a lot of large sites within the community. So BRIM uses Zeek as well. And another thing about the architecture of BRIM is that it was built using Go, the Go language. So before I showcase you the tool, I'd like to actually show you, so if you don't want to use your own network traffic, you can go to malwaretrafficanalysis.net, and actually from here you can download PCAP to practice on with BRIM. And when you actually go to download the actual PCAP from this website, since it's called malware traffic analysis, the actual password is infected to actually download the PCAP, which I thought was kind of funny personally. But without further ado, let's kind of just dive into BRIM and jump right into it so I can showcase you what that tool looks like. So here's what BRIM looks like once you download it and open it up. This is what your screen's gonna look like. So a couple of things here to notice is that you have your local lake at the top, and BRIM has what they call pools. So on the pools, you can see 3 different files, and those are just 3 different PCAP samples that I've had sitting in my pool. And if you look below the pools, you'll see the queries, and it's kind of cool. These are actually actual queries that you can just filter on. Like I said in the beginning, BRIM is extremely user-friendly, so you can actually build out your queries from just right here. So let's just click on this demo PCAP. So looking at this PCAP here, and this is just an overall demo PCAP that I found out there on the web. So we're just gonna kind of just navigate through this PCAP and just show you kind of the features of BRIM in itself. So let's see, let's first of all, let's use some of these pre-populated queries over here. So let's do an activity overview. So as you can see, I clicked activity overview, and if you look up here in this field right here, it automatically did the query for you. So like I said, you don't have to be a pro to use this day one. You can literally filter and do your own queries. So this activity overview is giving you just a, like it says, just a general overview of all the traffic that's within that PCAP. And as you can see, you have these different headers right here. These are just the different they call it flows within BRIM. So like if you wanted to look at all your DNS traffic, you could do that. You could simply just right click on it and then do a new search with this value, DNS, and this is going to give you an overview of all the DNS traffic within that PCAP, which is actually fairly cool that you can actually just right click and filter through a lot of this stuff. So let's get rid of this and let's just go back to our overview. So let's look for some HTTP within our traffic. So you have HTTP here. So again, let's right click on it. This is one of the features that I love about BRIM. I did a right click and we could do a new search with this value. So new search with this value, that's what you get. So this is all your HTTP traffic. And if you wanted to get adventures, this is your destination port. So let's right click and let's do a count by that field. And like I say, what's cool about what's really awesome about this is I'm right clicking and doing this, but it's building out, it's literally building out this query language as I just right click and go through it. So, and then let's sort this again. And as I sort this, you can see it's still building onto that query, but I want to sort it so I see where the most PCAP is first. So this is interesting. So right here, you see your destination port 80. That's what your HTTP traffic is, port 80. So you can see all the other ports that are using port 80. So it's like, that might be a place that you would want to start a hunt if you were potentially trying to hunt or something like that. So let's back out right here. Let's go back to our overview. So let's just go over here. We see this IP address. So another cool thing about BRIM, if I was to right click on this IP address right here, I could do a whois lookup from within BRIM itself, and I can even send it to VirusTotal to do a search. So let's just send this IP address to VirusTotal just to see if anything comes out of it. So ran it through VirusTotal. This is a clean IP address here. So okay, that's cool. Let's go back into BRIM. Let's see. Oh, another cool thing is you can actually build on those searches as well. So let's search on this IP address here. Let's do a new search with this value. I have that IP address, and I can see this little pin right here. I could pin it. So I have that IP address. And then if I wanted DNS traffic, I could do a search on this value as well. And I can also pin this as well. And what this allows me to do is I can actually compound that search to actually make it easy to just change like the IP address if I wanted to, for instance. And while I'm on just this demo PCAP, let's also just take in like I said earlier, is that what's cool about this is you can also send stuff to Wireshark itself. So let's just open this up right here. Let's put it back over here. You have this little cool option up here, open packets from this connection, and it gives me the option to actually open it with Wireshark, and you will see it come back over here on the screen in a second. So for those of you who just can't live without Wireshark, this is that feature I was talking about where you can actually take and actually view the data within Wireshark itself. So now that we had time to just kind of see that demo PCAP to just get a feel for the general overview, I also pulled another PCAP sample, the Emotet PCAP sample from that malware website that I showed you. And we're just going to kind of look through that to give you like potential traffic that you may see if you were doing a hunt or something like that. So we're back at the pool, clicked on it, we got the data loaded up. And so a little backstory is that a while back, CISA issued an advisory warning against emotet activity. So they said things such as port 8080, and a good way to start with this would be to look through your DNS traffic. So here on the screen, I have it up, and we're going to start this hunt. Like they say, let's just look at the DNS traffic that we have. So I could just simply do the unique DNS queries here, but why not use the feature where I could just right click here and let's just do a new search with this value. Why don't we? So here we go. And so we did the search of all our DNS traffic, and then let's take this query string right here. Let's do a right click on this, and let's do a count by this field so we can see all the queries. So this looks kind of crazy right now looking at it. And like I said, that as you're doing this, it just builds out the queries for you. But let's take and sort this. So let's do that, and it built it out again. And that's a sort from few hits to a many, and let's do it the other way. So here we have it. And at this point, you should kind of have an idea for like the typical traffic that you should see on your network. So as you're going down and going through this, you notice like, what's this TTAC private.de? I've never seen that on my network before. Let's investigate that a little further. So from here, we can right click, and like I say, you can actually just go to virus total straight from here, and it'll take this. So let's do a virus total lookup on this actual query right here. So that's not good. As you can see, 7 security vendors flagged this domain as malicious. You got phishing and all that stuff. So we got the detection. Let's give a look at the details. So as we're looking at the details, let's look at that A record. They actually give us a IP address. So let's take and copy that IP address that we have here. Let's copy it. And let's actually go back into our BRIM. And we could just simply do another query here, but BRIM gives us the option to have tabs. So let's just simply open another tab. Let's load that PCAP again. And let's simply just do a search on that IP address. And we do that search, and as you can see, you have all these alerts. You have a file right here. There's a GET request for it, but let's look at that file. You can see there was an executable right there. So and you have, here's that malicious IP address, and you have this IP address that's within your network. So from this point, you could potentially take and query that IP address within your network to see who all that person's communicated with, to kind of see the scope of that potential attack. And like I said, we did it this way, but I could have also just went and just did unique DNS queries, and it does that query for you as well. And you get right back to where you see that IP address. But I figured we'd just do it that way. And then let's see you can see all your post requests. You can see file activity, so it's showing you all those files. And what we just seen in that last search that I had, you see this executable again, this file name. And so you could definitely do some more research on this to see, do a right click. And like I said, the cool thing about this, you can right click and search certain things, and you send it to Wireshark for further analysis. But let's just kind of look at some of the other queries that are over here. You can do alerts by subnet. So it gives you a breakdown of just a typical, like a generic overview of the activity within that subnet within your network. So I just wanted to give you a quick overview. And like I say, with this PCAP, you could actually take and do a little further analysis to try to go down and try to hunt that down a little bit further to try to potentially see the scope of the infection within your network. So again, I'm Wade here with IG Labs, and for today's podcast, like I said, instead of just talking about that current news out there within the community regarding data science, I thought it'd be nice to actually just showcase you a tool and to not take away, again, to just further equip you with another addition so you can be better equipped to get after it and defend your network at home. So again, I'm Wade here with IG Labs, and thank you for tuning in to today's episode of our podcast.